Got a question for you. Do you work hard? Do you work smart? Are you able to do both? Working smart while working hard means saving money. And I hope that by following my videos or possibly even copying some of my trades that I can help you with saving. The problem is saving is just the beginning. How do we get that to compound? Let's get it compounding in the stock markets. And once you're in the markets, one of the best ways to increase the rate of compounding is to sell stocks and buy stocks. So let's see which stocks I've got to sell today. All right, so we're back into our charts looking at the increase today. If we look at yesterday, we're going to take a look at this is the value, the range of where we opened and closed. And yesterday we had a range of $5.57, where today we have $5.02. So we're looking at 55 more cent of increase today, and we will recover everything that we lost yesterday. Well, technically, if we actually look at the candle, we're already higher than the open of yesterday. So we have recovered yesterday's losses. So we had a gap up. If you look here, we'll zoom in. We closed yesterday at 627.97 and we opened at 629.05. So roughly, we started $1 higher today than we did yesterday. So we regained everything. All right, so all right, we sold that. That is some of my day trading trades. So we're going to start off today just selling the stocks that are going to earnings this afternoon. I have 3 stocks that are going there. The first one we'll take a look at is AppLovin, APP. Now I have my 4 sets of 3. I'm maxed out at 12, so I'm going to sell half of those, which is going to be 6, and I bought 6 here. I bought 3 at 365 and 3 at 354. So we're just going to go ahead and set this at 6, and we'll sell these. Maybe not. Price rose on me. Okay, well, it's moving fast. Let's try this again. There we go. If price rises faster than our sell order is placed, then it won't activate. Okay, so I accidentally made a purchase order instead of a sell order. So I went in and set a sell order for that 6, and I also set a sell order for these 6, and we just sold those at 388.19. So at least I made a little bit of money on all 18 of these. Actually, on this purchase, that was roughly, we'll just round it to $20 a share, and we'll round this to $30 a share. So that's roughly $90 in profit on these 3 and 60 on these 3 shares. So I typically make that mistake. Instead of going in the sell, I go in the purchase order, and maybe a couple times a month. It's not uncommon, or it's actually more rare. So our next stock that's going to earnings today is DraftKings, DKNG. And I purchased these in blocks of 4, and we've got 16. Just bought those here at $44.85. And since I usually sell half of the shares, or at least half of the blocks of shares that we have before earnings, it doesn't matter what price action is doing. Doesn't matter if I have any sell alerts or buy alerts. We're just going to sell 8 shares. There's 5, 6, 7, 8, and we're not going into the purchase. We're going to put a sell order 1 block below the 45.77, and they all went. 8 DraftKings. So we'll round that to $2, so roughly $32 in profits there. Our last stock going to earnings this afternoon is McKesson, MCK. MCK. You can see for the last 3 months, McKesson has basically been in a range from 665 to 729. So we've basically been moving sideways. So current price right now is, I mean, that's where we were 3 months ago. If you look at my day trading activity, you see on this particular day, on June 12th, I did a great deal of scalping. I had purchased 140 shares and we ended up selling 144 from shares that we previously had already been holding before we got to this day. But on this particular day, I had 140 shares that I bought and sold. And that was because price doesn't, these candles, they just show open to close, the overall movement for the day. But this could have gone up and down dozens and dozens of times. Now, I know this was a very, very, very choppy day compared to many of the other candles. For example, here, I only had 2 trades, and I'm pretty active on my day trading when we are able to make trades, where this day was a particularly probably choppy day, just going up and down, price just moving within a very small, tight range. It's very possible that we may have opened on this day at 721 and maybe had a slight movement, but once it started going down, it may have just gone down for the rest of the day. So I didn't have many opportunities to purchase and buy to make any trades. At any rate, let's get back to selling some of these McKesson stocks. You can see we've got 3 shares, and both of those are purchased at the higher than the current price. So we are going to sell 1 share that is at this price of $731.23. So we're going to cancel this. We're going to cancel that. And we are going to set a sell order. So we need to come in to McKesson, right click, pull up a sell order. We're going to sell 2. And we're going to sell that at, we had purchased those 2 at $730.53. So if we just take 10% of the 700, which is 70 cents. Well, we are selling 2, not 23. Okay, so we're back to, we take 10% of the 700, which is 70 cents. We add 70 cents to 706.59, and that is $707.29. So $707.29. Good till cancel, confirm and send. At 233. Let's try this again. Sell. We're selling 2 at 731.29. There's our 2. There's our 731.29. Good till cancel. Confirm and send. All right, that one finally took. All right, so that's all 3 shares that we have going to earnings this afternoon. We also have one tomorrow, which is Eli Lilly. Current price is already lower than our purchase price. Same thing as McKesson. We're maxed out at 4. I purchase in blocks of 1. So we are going to cancel these 3 since they're higher. And we are actually going to cancel the 2 highest ones. So we're going to cancel the 972 and we're going to cancel the 933. And if they have an excellent earnings, we could easily go up to over $100 with Eli Lilly. Again, it doesn't matter what the price action is doing. We're already lower than our purchase price, but for earnings, I'd like to sell half of the blocks that we own. So $100 is not an uncommon for Eli Lilly to move during earnings. Okay, so we are going to head back over to our actual sell list, all of the stocks that were triggered for sell orders and they hit their price alerts. And the first one we're going to look at is Boston Scientific, which is BSX. Now, for all of the stocks that I have to place sell orders because price is already lower than our purchase price, which that is the case here, I will just bypass that so you don't have to see me place a sell order. I'm more interested in showing you my reasoning on why I'm selling. So for this particular stock, we had price trigger as it fell below our fast average line. So that set a sell order, or that set an alert for sale. We looked at that yesterday, and we have continuation today. So this sell order is way back from this price action being moved. And I will come back in and set another sell order to confirm that I place another 2 shares within a sell order. So our next stock that we're going to look at is going to be Twilio. So for Twilio, we had price trigger an alert 4 days ago. We had confirmation. We did end up selling 2, which took us down to 6. So that's 3 blocks of 2 remaining. Then we had price continually move up. Now this is actually a buy order. We had a sell order trigger yesterday, when we had price move back above the slow moving average here. So we're looking at our trigger list from yesterday, but this is actually a buy trigger and not a sell trigger for today. So we're going to move on to our next one, which is an ETF, XLI. XLI is an ETF for industrials. And so what we're looking at here, we had the fast moving average cross today, the slow moving average, and that is the trigger. That set a sell alert, but we will wait until tomorrow. I do not buy on the same day that we actually have a trigger because we may not have confirmation. Tomorrow, with everything going up in the market today, we may have a continuation tomorrow with price going up. So we always wait for a confirmation the following day on the movement of the price compared to the why the alert was triggered. So the next one is JP Morgan, which is JPM. And the price alert that was triggered was yesterday. We had price fall below the slow moving average. We do have confirmation of a continuation in the downfall of the price. So now I'll check to see what our purchase price. Current price is $290.93, and I purchased. I've got my closest one is $291.34. So this price is already lower. So I will come back later and create a sell order for JP Morgan. You know what? Actually, I'll go ahead and just set this sell order because price is so close. And while we're making the video, we might have a up movement in the price. So we're going to sell 1. There's our 1. And I purchased it at $291.34. So 10% of the 200's place is going to be the 2. Or excuse me, 20 cents. So we are going to sell this. We're going to set a sell order at $291.54. That's 20 cents higher than my purchase price. Good till cancel, confirm and send. And there's that sell order. And it's very likely or possible, not likely, that we might be able to sell this while we're making the video. The next stock we're going to look at is Monster Energy Drink, MNST. We just have continual decline in price from our purchase price at $60.39, which is up here. We've had 2 days in a row of price moving down. The very next day we had price move through both of our moving averages for price. I buy these in 4 blocks of 3, so we're maxed out. So I'll come back later and set a sell order. Price is not likely to climb back up to hit these, our purchase price. So I will come back later and do that, set those sell orders. Our next one is an ETF, SMH, which is an ETF for semiconductors. Our price was triggered yesterday as it fell through both moving averages. So we have that trigger there. We do have a continuation, and even though it's a green candle, price is significantly lower than our close of yesterday. So I'm going to go ahead and sell two of them because I'm maxed. I buy in blocks of two, so 4 blocks of 2. I already have a sell order for one block. So we're going to sell 2, and this price is currently above our purchase prices. So we're going to sell now. Hopefully it goes at 286.62. Oh no, that's a purchase. Almost made that mistake again. We're selling here. And there we go. Almost made that mistake. Next on our triggered alerts is SoFi. It's online banking. And we have triggered yesterday as it crossed our fast moving average. Then we have continuation today, but we also have another alert that was triggered today as it fell through the slow moving average. So I buy these in blocks of 18, and we currently have 2 blocks remaining. And that's because we sold prior to earnings 2 of our blocks, and we haven't had an opportunity to actually buy back in from a strong buy signal. You can see from the day we sold here, we had price move up, but all day long it moved down. It continued to move down, then went back up, and then it went down, then up and down, and it's down again. Now, since I've been making these videos, we haven't gone over this particular rule. So when I have the opportunity to buy in, I determine how many blocks of stocks or how many total shares I'd like to own in that particular stock. And then I divide that by 4 to give me my 4 blocks. Now, in this particular case, I'd like to be maxed out at 72 with SoFi. Now, I have 3 hard sell triggers. One is when we have the price fall below the fast moving line. We'll get the alert. We'll go in and see if we do have confirmation of price moving down, and then we'll look at it the next day. The second one is when we have price move below the slow moving average. Same thing. We get the alert. We'll go in and confirm that its price is moving down, and then we'll look at it the following day. And on each case, if price is in continuation, we will sell those. Now, once I've sold 2, I will not sell any more. The next rule is when the fast moving average crosses below the slow moving average, then I will sell out completely of everything I have as long as I'm making a profit. In this particular case, we bought 18 back here at $15.04, and we bought 54, but we've sold 18 of these and we bought back in 2 days later. And then we've sold 36 here. So I currently have 36 shares of SoFi at roughly we'll just call it a $7 profit right now. So I have 36 shares sitting at a $7 profit. And one reason I don't sell is when we're in a bull market, we can have something similar to this. We can have price come down and we cross on one day, but the next day we don't actually have continuation of falling price. So I would not have sold. So here was an alert to sell whatever stocks I may have owned. And then the next day, we did not have continuation, so I did not sell. And it's just been going up ever since. So both of these moving averages act as support. So we can have price fall down, touch it, and then bounce back up possibly, or stop here. And we can also have the slow moving average act as support, just like we did here. The fast moving line came down, touched the support, and it went back up. So those are the 3 of my hard rules, and what causes me to at least take a look prior to selling a stock. Boy, I struggled through that little explanation. Okay, our next one is XLY. That is an ETF for consumer discretionary. I only have 1 share remaining. We had 2 days ago, price fall down below the slow moving average. We had a continuation. However, the price, even though it was a continuation of being below the slow moving average, it was higher than the previous day. So I decided to wait till today to see what price did. If price had moved down, we would be selling XLY and we'd be selling it at a small profit, but price is moving up. So we will hold on to it and we'll wait until tomorrow to see what XLY does tomorrow. And that wraps up all of our sell orders for today. I want to ask you if you could please help me grow my channel by hitting that like, share, and subscribe button. Thank you very much for watching this video, and thank you very much for hitting those buttons. It's now time to make some buys. Now it is time to take a look at the stocks that had sell triggers today and yesterday, the continuation from yesterday. So we'll start off with SHW, which is Sherwin-Williams. They've been going down for quite some time. I only have 3 shares. Buy those in blocks of 1, and they currently are priced up here around 365 and greater. We currently have our fast moving average. It crossed today. It looks like it may have crossed yesterday, but it didn't. Our alert was triggered today, so we actually have a cross today. We'll check out our earnings. The earnings was actually estimated at $3.75, but actual was $3.38. So that's not a very good earnings report. Not only that, Sherwin-Williams depends on the housing industry, both new houses and remodels and everyday retailers and homeowners just repainting whatever rooms they want to paint, or their shed or their house. So since we have a situation where we do not have lowering interest rates, I am definitely not going to buy today. If we had the opposite, if we had a good earnings statement, I would consider just go ahead and purchasing today, but we don't. So we're going to stick to our rule that we have to wait to see if we have continuation in price tomorrow. Now, it is possible because this is considered an aggressive hammer. We had price drop, but then the bulls came back in and moved price back up. And that sometimes is a good sign that tomorrow price will move in that direction. Let's see if we have any hammers. So here we had a hammer that we had price move down, and we did have a continuation in price the next day. Here's another hammer. We had price move down with a continuation the next day. Here's an example of what we're facing today. We have a hammer where price dropped down, moved back up, and it had a continuation and price increase. But here is the same thing, but the opposite. We had price move down. So it's just a signal to look at. It certainly isn't a buy or sell signal when you have a hammer. It definitely does not mean that price is going to continue whatever direction the hammer is moving, just as exemplified by these 2 candles here. The next stock we're going to look at that hit the sell trigger is XTL. That is an ETF for telecommunications companies. And we did not have the alert hit today. The alert actually triggered 2 days ago, but the continuation was priced down. However, we have a continuation of 2 days, the cross 2 days ago, and price moving upward. So we're going to go ahead and purchase. Actually, we're going to max out. No, what am I going to do? I like to be maxed out at 8 shares. We have half the amount. We have 2 blocks of 2. So I will buy 2 more blocks of 2. So we're going to buy 4 shares at the current price. Or not. I'll set it a little higher at 126.75. Nobody's willing to buy it. I've jumped up to 72. We'll set it at 126.75. All right, price is moving. So if it doesn't go like that, we could just hit buy market. And that should go. So we bought it at 126.60. And the last one that we had hit a trigger today is Apple. AAPL. Wow, that is some nice price action. Like, we had a huge drop after earnings, but now it's recovered. So if we look back at our range block again, when we come into this candle, we'll be able to see that the range moved $9. Range moved $12.08. Let's see what we've done today. We've only done $9.79. So we have roughly $2.25. Maybe price will keep on going. It certainly did go up. We did recover, although this was a greater overall range. Earlier in the video, I misspoke. I said the range was open to close. It's actually highest point reached to the lowest point reached. That's the entire range of the day. So that was my mistake. Sorry about that. All right, so we've got the range figured out, got that straightened out. That was my mistake. So what's going on with Apple is we had price drop. It dropped pretty rapidly after earnings. We have the fast moving average is below the slow moving average. So I'm not going to purchase any Apple until we have a crossover of the fast moving average over the slow moving average. Now we currently have two. I do not have any sell orders. Our current price is higher than our purchase price of our Apple. Now, these 3 shares of Apple that I've purchased and sold today are through day trading activities. And these are not to be intended to be held for a long period of time, or at least until we have a crossover. If we have if we were to have a share of Apple that we bought and price dropped, we would hold on to that until it either sold or price crossed, whichever came first, with a continuation in price. So we'll find out tomorrow if we have a continuation in this wonderful price action. So the reason that price is moving so much for Apple right now is that Tim Cook promised Donald Trump that he would invest billions of dollars here in the United States, and he agreed to increase by $100 billion the commitment of U.S. manufacturing investment to $600 billion. It was $500 billion, so that is why this is going up. Donald Trump wants Apple and as many companies to come back to the United States and to build and manufacture their products here. So that's it for our purchases. We come back here to our SPY index, to the S&P 500. And you know what? I'll go ahead and set up for our going to this morning's or this afternoon's earnings. And we have App, DraftKings, and McKesson. Nope, that's AMD from yesterday. So we have McKesson Group. They are now in. So I will be back at shortly before 4:10. We have 2 of them. We have App and McKesson going to earnings at 4:10. All right, we have roughly 30 seconds left for App and McKesson to report their earnings. It's possible that App may have already reported. That's some pretty big price action to be occurring beforehand. It's not uncommon for price to move like this before earnings are actually released. But if we have a huge spike up at 4:10, which just occurred, not a huge spike up for App, not a huge spike up for McKesson at all. Maybe they've already released. So I don't know if they've already released, but either way, this is why I like to sell before earnings. Again, I would rather sell half of the blocks of the shares that we have, thereby removing the opportunity to have this loss from 390 all the way down to 340. Oh, it's going back up. So that was a $50 potential loss. We'll see what happens between the rest of the evening and tonight, but it was a potential loss of $50 per share, and we sold 6 shares, so that would have been a $300 loss. But price is moving back up. It's only $15 difference compared to the 50. Dismiss that. That was my timer countdown for the 410. So the next Palantir. I corrected that. It is DraftKings. That is at 4:15. So I'll be back in about 3 minutes. All right, we have less than 30 seconds left. We'll keep an eye on the DraftKings. We can see that the app is moving back up slowly. So this must have been the earnings released a little bit earlier. It was scheduled to be released at 4:10. DraftKings is scheduled to be released at 4:15. So we'll keep an eye on the clock at 4. And there we go, right at 4:15. We have a wonderful move up. So we're already looking at $3. Ooh, right back down. Again, there's our earnings. It's an active, it's volatile. I wonder how many DraftKings we sold. I don't remember. DK and Gene. All right, we sold 8 DraftKings, which means we have 8 left, I believe. Yes, we have 8 DraftKings remaining. I have 2 blocks of 4. Hopefully this will go right back up. All right, well that's our earnings for the day. That's the volatility for now. I'll come back in, I don't know, 5 minutes before we finish the video. All right, here is the final look at the earnings for today, the reaction and response. Here's for App 11. Hopefully that'll keep going back up. I would really love that. If you were holding the stock, you would too. DraftKings, now you look to be steadily going up, roughly $2.50. And McKesson is going down at the moment. Their earnings report, they 10 cents less from the estimates, so that's not good. But it doesn't necessarily mean it'll go down all through the night. It might just turn back around tomorrow morning, depending on the guidance that they give. They might have amazing and wonderful guidance for the rest of the year. All right, so now we're going to take a look at our activities for the day. There we go. All right, so for today, we have a total of $330. We'll just round up to $333 in realized gains. And our year-to-date portfolio return is 14.34% compared to the S&P 500 at 7.91. So we will go ahead and close out of these. I am done for the day. So I can't think of anything else. If you're currently in the markets and you've been watching my videos and you have any thoughts or ideas or questions, please reach out. If you're not in the markets and you currently are thinking about getting in and my videos are helping you make that decision, please reach out. I'd love to answer your questions as well. Thank you very much for watching.